Okay, so here's my review of the Tumbler and the HORL knife sharpener. Both of them are in boxes, and we're going to do a review of both of them. So let's get into it. The Tumbler has the instructions, and then your magnetic base and your actual sharpener. Move these off to the side. So you have a 15 degree and a 20 degree. And here is the sharpening stone and the honing stone. Here's the HORL, which I'm using a HORL 2, not the Pro. You have instructions that come in the box. You have your sharpening stone there, and then you have your honing stone also. And then your magnetic block, which is also 15 and a 20. So the first noticeable difference between the two is the size of each sharpening stone and the actual magnetic blocks. The Tumbler magnetic block is really small. I'm not too sure why they made that design, and the HORL is really long. I do like that a lot. The actual design of each, let me turn them around. You can see a difference in the actual honing sharpeners between the two. Let's turn them around again, and you should be able to see a difference in the actual diamond sharpening. So let's start with the Tumbler. Now I'm just going to take a knife that I have. You can see that right there. I don't know what the sharpness is on this, but it's jagged, obviously. So put that paper off to the side. We're going to go at a 20-degree angle. So you take your actual knife and you bring it right there. You want to make sure this is flush to the countertop that you're dealing with, and then you just roll this back and forth like so. This is the Tumbler. I'm going to do this a few times back and forth on one side, then I'm going to flip it over. I'm not feeling much drag, so let's go ahead and turn this around. Make sure it's seated well, and then I'm going to run it back and forth. So this is the diamond wheel. A few times that way. Since I've already done that, I'm going to go ahead and do the honing, which is going to fine tune that actual sharpening. Flip it over, since I already sharpened that one side, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the honing on this side. Set that off to the side. We'll take that same piece of paper that I used before, and let's see what we got for sharpness. It's still jagged. So here's a side angle of the actual knife sharpener from Tumbler. So we're going to start, and we're going to go back and forth a few times. You can feel the drag Now I'm not feeling much drag at all. And that was all for the diamond wheel. We're going to turn our knife over. Make sure everything is flush. We're going to run it on the side again. Not feeling much drag, so I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. I'm going to use that honing. Flip the knife over again. Make sure everything is seated down. Run our honing again. Felt nice and smooth. We'll go on to the next. So here we are with the HORL. We're going to use the 20-degree angle on that. I'm going to pick up a chef knife that I have over here. Flip the knife over. Attach it just like so. Make sure it's seated and it's on your countertop or whatever you're using. Let's go ahead and run this back and forth. I went fast. You just need to go slow. Let's go ahead and flip the knife over. Make sure we have our angle right. Flip it over, do our honing, which you're going to fine tune your edge, just did. I don't feel any drag on that at all, so we're good there. Let me go ahead and flip and hone that other side. Not much drag at all. Set that to the side and grab our paper. Slice this right through it. So one thing when you're sharpening knives, we'll grab both of them. You want to have a rag close by. You want to always go away from the blade and wipe off anything that you might have sharpened with, because there's still metal on those knives and you don't want that in your food. And I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but you actually see the metal shavings from those knives. Here's the HORL. We'll go back to the chef knife that I had before, 20-degree magnetic. We're gonna go with our diamond blade, diamond blade, and we're gonna go back and forth. Flip our knife over. Probably best to get in the middle of the knife. I had it a little further back than I should have. Made a few swipes that way. Let's go ahead and use our honing. Doesn't take much. You can hear a difference. Flip our knife over. Move it to the middle. Doesn't take, you can hear a difference in that. And there's a knife sharpened. Take a rag, always have the blade away from you, and then just wipe all that away. You don't want that knife anywhere close to you. You don't want that edge going this way when you're wiping it off, because you're cutting into a rag. So just always do it away from you. We'll go to this knife also, same thing. Away from you. And you should be able to see on that rag right there. So the first noticeable difference between the two is the size of each sharpening stone and the actual magnetic blocks. The tumbler magnetic block is really small. I'm not too sure why they made that design, and the HORL is really long. I do like that a lot. The actual design of each, let me turn them around. You can see a difference in the actual honing sharpeners between the two. Let's turn them around again, and you should be able to see a difference in the actual diamond sharpening. The other difference is when you're dealing with the block size. Let's put them side by side, and you can see the HORL has a different block size and magnetic base than the actual tumbler. When you look at the actual honing discs that are on each sharpener, tumbler on this side, HORL on that side, it's a different honing. When you look at the two, as far as the HORL and the tumbler, this is more shinier, and I think it's more quality of an actual diamond sharpening blade or stone than the actual tumbler. I don't really know much about the tumbler. I've reached out to them and did not get much of a contact back from them. HORL was very responsive of talking about their actual product. So here are your two knife sharpeners. This is an honest review of both of them. I have to admit, I do like the HORL over the tumbler, the way it rolls. And HORL, I have to admit, that they have interchangeable discs that you can put on the actual sharpener. They have a whetstone kit that you can add. This is the HORL 2 that I have. The tumbler does not have any discs that you can change out, so you're only limited to sharpening a knife to a certain extent. The HORL just felt so much smoother when sharpening a knife, and I think you can hear the difference in the video. The HORL, I think, is probably the superior knife sharpener, in my opinion. So since the holidays are coming up soon, if it was me and you're trying to find your husband or your father, grandfather, a gift, and they're hard to buy for, like I am, this is probably the best thing you could get them in a heartbeat. I would suggest the HORL versus the tumbler. If you're on a budget and you can't afford the HORL, then by all means go for the tumbler, but quality and long life last would be the HORL in my choice. The actual HORL, with the extra discs that you can buy for sharpening, and the leather strap that they provide, and the towel, and a bunch of other stuff that you can get and change the actual disc out. So you can use that one HORL device and change out your actual stones and really fine tune a knife. Biggest thing in the kitchen is a dull knife. You want an accident very quick is when a jagged knife does not cut. You're looking for an accident. You need to have sharp knives, and the best thing to do is use knife sharpeners. These two are very good. I prefer the HORL over the tumbler because of the accessories that you can change out, and I'll show that in a little bit.